In August, I failed my driving test. And right after failing, I had to move out in another town, and the driving school there told me that they had no classes available until November. So I thought, what if my only practice for the next test was BeamNG Drive? Yes, you heard right. I spent a whole month without driving my actual car and instead drove in a car simulator to see if it would positively or negatively affect my driving skills. So if you want to know if BeamNG Drive is actually a good way to learn how to drive, this video is for you. The first step for this experiment was to buy a steering wheel for my PC. Click, 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 bim, bam, and boom! 300 well-spent dollars. And the very same night, I started the experiment, and to be as much immersed as possible, I was also in VR. And honestly, the first driving sesh didn't go perfectly. My driving was pretty stiff because of the smaller wheel, and I almost got in a car crash. A few days later, I hit the road again, and this time it went way better. But I faced the first problem with BeamNG Drive's driving. The AI for other cars is pretty bad. But most importantly, I discovered that there were police cars in the game too. So I did what anyone would have done. That's the thing that I ended up doing the whole month, because you know what's funny? Having a deadly car crash. But honestly, I felt like I was becoming better over time. At the beginning, it was really hard for me to stay in my lane and not zigzag. Like on the first test, the driving instructor told me that I was driving like an alcoholic. But the fact that I was not in an actual car definitely made it harder for me to feel in control. It's kind of hard to explain, but the fact that you don't feel any inertia when you turn, brake, or accelerate,
except if you sell your child for a full racing sim rig,
makes it harder to actually take full control of the car. And that's another con for BeamNG. And another con is that there are no pedestrians. It really sucks for the immersion and the practice, but it pisses me off because you can't run over anybody. And with all that BeamNG practice, I ended up going to the test with a freshly repaired car. The instructor gets in, I start driving, and I see a stop sign, and I don't completely stop at it, I just slow down to like 2 kilometers. So right at the beginning, the instructor tells me that I failed. I'm pissed off, of course, but instead of turning to him and saying,
I have a gun,
I instead kept driving so the dude could tell me a full review of my driving skills. So apart from the stop sign thing, apparently I was speeding way too much. It seemed like I was way too stressed out because I never drove in that part of town, which is another default that BeamNG has. You can't familiarize yourself with your environment. So all in all, would I recommend BeamNG Drive for practice purposes? Well, yeah, but definitely don't use it like I did. Reminder, I took no classes for a month. I think that BeamNG can help getting more comfortable with the wheel and everything, but it definitely has its limits, which I talked about earlier. That's why I think that you should pair BeamNG practice with actual real-life driving classes with an actual car, so you can work on skills that a video game can't improve. So that answers the question. With that being said, how the fuck did Dano get his driver's license when he was trying to be bad and I failed twice while doing my best?